If you had to spend $36,000 on comic books, what would you buy? Well, that's the question that Bjorn from the Son of Crom YouTube channel recently had to ask himself when he traded in his Batman #1 CGC 2.0 restored copy to mycomicshop.com in exchange for $36,000 of store credit. And when I first heard him talking about this, I thought, man, are you crazy? You're going to trade away the first appearance of the Joker, the first appearance of Catwoman, the first solo series for Batman? I mean, that's a book that collectors dream of having. I mean, I think I dream of just holding it. But you're just going to trade it in like it's nothing? What's going on with you, man? But then he put out a series of videos where he started showing what he was able to get with that $36,000. And my friend, for $36,000, you can get a lot of cool comic books, and he certainly did. But you decide, was he crazy? Did he make the right decision? Tell me in the comments below. And this begs the age-old question of what is more important, quality or quantity? And of course, I'm sure we all fall on different parts of that spectrum, where on the one end, you could get this one awesome book like the Batman #1, and that's it. Where on the other end of the spectrum, you could get $36,000 bin books. Where in that spectrum do you lie? And I got to thinking about it, and I actually made a list of the books that I would buy for $36,000. And I want you to tell me below, what would you buy with that money? Now, Bjorn was limited to picking books from mycomicshop.com, but I'm going to make this a little easier for us because there might be a book that you want at a certain grade that they just don't happen to have in stock right now. So you can go use eBay sales data or coverprice.com sales data or whatever you want to at least come up with a rough estimate of books that you think you would get. And I did that. I went to coverprice.com, looked up a bunch of sales data, found books that sold over the past year, and kind of got a rough idea of what I think these books would go for. And I made a list, and the biggest question was I going to get an Amazing Fantasy 15 at a 3.0, which I think was probably going to be about $25,000 of my money. And I decided I am going to go a little bit more on the quantity side of things. And even though that's hard, oh my gosh, I can't believe I decided not to put that on my list. But I decided just slightly more quantity I'm going to emphasize. Bjorn has been rubbing off on me. I'm giving up these big books in exchange for a quantity of awesome books. But to start off, if you watch my channel, shouldn't be any surprise at all, I would finally get my Fantastic Four #5 in a 6.0, which is the grade that I'm targeting. For my Silver Age keys, what I really want to target if I basically had a large amount of money is 6.0. Once I get a 6.0 of a Silver Age book, I don't feel like I would have to hunt it anymore. If I get like a 3 or 4.0, I'm happy to get into it, but I'm going to be looking to upgrade. But 6.0, I'm happy. So FF #5 would be about $12,000. Now, I'm going to go back on what I just said, and I'm going to get X-Men #1, which is an incredible book. Obviously, 7 major first appearances: Professor X, Cyclops, Angel, Marvel Girl, and then the most important ones, Iceman, Beast, and Magneto. Love all of those characters. And normally, again, I would be targeting a 6.0, but when I went to Cover Price, man, the gap between a 5.5 and a 6.0 is crazy. So at a 6.0, that book regularly sells for around $16,000. But at a 5.5, just a smidge worse, you can regularly get that for about $11,000. I mean, that's a $5,000 difference for a 0.5 grade. And even though I really want a 6.0, I mean, to be able to get it at 2/3 of the price for a half a grade down is pretty incredible, I think. So I'm going to break my own rules. Sometimes you have to break them. And I'm going to get an X-Men #1, but at a 5.5. All right, next up, we're going to move to the Bronze Age. And the Bronze Age is where I am looking, again, where I would stop trying to upgrade a 9.0. That's what I'm looking at. And so a book that I've been hunting for years, this has been on my list of books to get for like the last 2 years, just haven't found one at the right price. But Marvel Spotlight #5, the first appearance of Ghost Rider. And at a 9.0, you can get that book for about $4,500. Now, when I see that price today, I was looking through these. I mean, we all know the market's corrected since COVID, but it's crazy how much some of these books have dropped since I last, really seriously checked 2 years ago. But Ghost Rider, character I love, certainly the main character from the Bronze Age that I do not already have his first appearance. And another rule I'm doing with this exercise, there are books. Really, if I had that money, I would upgrade, like Amazing Spider-Man 129. I have that in a 5.0, first appearance of Punisher. But then I would sell the copy I already have, and then it just gets into a lot more math than I want to do for this video. So all these that I'm listing are books that I don't have. None of these are upgrades. All right, next we'll go back to the Silver Age. Amazing Spider-Man #3, again at a 6.0, first appearance of Dr. Octopus for $4,000. Dr. Octopus, I think, is my favorite Spidey villain. He's so underrated. Some of my favorite comics of all time were from that Superior Spider-Man run where he took over, obviously, Peter Parker's body. And I think he was the Superior Spider-Man. Yeah, that might be a little bit of comic book blasphemy, but he did good. Am I crazy? Tell me. I don't know, but I would really love that book. All right, and then next, we're going to move into just some Doctor Doom keys that I don't have. First of all, the main one I want that's not FF5, Marvel Superheroes #20, one of his greatest, if not his greatest covers. At a 9.0, you can get that book for $1,000. The other cover that I'd love to have that I don't have, and it just now came to mind, I might change this a little bit, but Fantastic Four Annual #2, another awesome Doom cover that I don't have. But a couple cheap Doom keys that I don't have that I'd love to have is Infamous Iron Man #1 at a 9.8. It's when he's first, when Iron Man is first Doctor Doom, the same person, $100. And then Doctor Doom #1, his first ongoing series, also at a 9.8, just $100. I don't know why I don't just go out and buy those two. I've sold enough comics where I can easily do that. I think I might do that after this video. But love both of those in a 9.8. Huge Doctor Doom fan. Need to do it. All right. Well, my next favorite character is Wolverine. But I already have most of the big Wolverine keys. And so the only one that's kind of like this second, maybe even third tier key that I don't have is Incredible Hulk 182, his second full appearance. And you can get that at a 9.0 for $350. Again, man, comics have fallen since COVID. So I'd pick that one up. And yeah, that would definitely be the biggest Wolverine key that I don't already have. And also, this is kind of a Wolverine key, but also a villain's first appearance. Again, I love my villains. Iron Fist #14, the first appearance of Sabretooth. You can get that at a 9.0 for about $500. So those would be my Wolverine books. And then the next character that I love, I mentioned already, kind of, ASM 129. His biggest key that I don't have is his first issue of his limited series, Punisher #1. And that at a 9.8 I would want to get. If it's Copper Age or Modern Age, I really want to target a 9.8 if I'm going to get it. You can get that for about $500. All right, moving on, we have Fantastic Four #49, the first cover appearance of Galactus. Which do I like more, 48 or 49? 48's his first appearance, first Silver Surfer appearance. Neither of them are on the cover, though. So 49, I think, is also the first Silver Surfer appearance, I guess, even though he's really tiny, I believe, if I remember the cover correctly. But it's a classic cover. I already have 48. Man, it is a beat-up copy. But my rules for this video is to only pick up books that I don't have. So issue number 49, you can get that in a 7.0 for about $1,200. This is another one. It's kind of the opposite of what I was saying about X-Men 1. A 6.0 is about $1,000 and a 7.0 is about $1,200. There's not really a huge difference between those, and they kind of go back and forth. If you look at the sales, there are people who paid as much for a 6.0 as others paid for a 7.0. They're really close. So I would just go ahead and get the 7.0 for $1,200, since I don't think it's that much more than a 6.0. And then my final individual issue, I'll tell you what I mean in a minute. Strange Tales number 169, the first appearance of Dr. Voodoo. After Ghost Rider, probably the biggest Bronze Age character that I don't have the first appearance of, except for probably Swamp Thing. But that's out of my price range with what I've got left in my $36,000 budget. First appearance of Dr. Voodoo, 9.0, you can get about $400. And so that leaves me about $350 left. And so what I would do with that is then complete runs of titles that I've been working on. And that $350 would be, I think, be more than enough to finish the following runs, which I'm almost finished with already. But I would want to complete the runs of the first Star Wars series, the first Transformers series, G.I. Joe, the third volume of Silver Surfer, and then one that's just really random, but especially as a Wolverine fan, because this title really centered a lot around him, is Marvel Comics Presents. And I'm super excited. If you know that run, kind of its most notorious is issue 72 through, I think it's 84, that has kind of his origin story, this Weapon X storyline. It's got these awesome Barry Windsor Smith covers. And I've only been missing one issue 74, for a couple of years now. I haven't been able to find it at a good price, but finally, I just got one 2 days ago. It's in the mail, but I ordered it from someone that I've bought comics from before. Super excited to get it. But you tell me, $36,000, what books do you buy? If you hadn't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so now. Like, comment, thank you.